I have a website that earned me over $2,000, but I suspect that's also what I've spent on content and hosting. But that's not the only way to make money online, and I have multiple income streams. And in this video, I'm going to share with you all the embarrassing details of what I've earned for the last year. I just need to get these two to school first.
Vi ses, drenge. Ha' en god dag. So let's have a look, and if you stick around, I'll share with you some of the learnings from the failures I've done, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. So the first site is the project Icarus site. The site has been doing fairly well. As you might remember, if you've been following this channel, it was hit by the Google Core Update 2022. I've been working on making this site to improve the site, and it has done something to the earnings. But when we look at the traffic, it doesn't seem to have done much. So $38 is not much, but it's I started the site in 2022, and it hasn't been monetized for the whole year. So that's a good start. I do expect a new site to earn at least 10 times as much in the second year as it does in the first year. But of course this doesn't, and this could be because of the update. If we look at the traffic, it's been fairly steady within the last year. There is something going on here. It does correspond with the Google Core Update last year, and for some reason the site has been seeing some improvement for a short while at least, but it could be due to some of the improvements I've done. If we take 16 months here, it is quite obvious for the 2022 update that has been happening there. I've been going over this in detail, and you can go and watch videos about that if you like. If we look at the earnings for that site, it has been fairly stable for the complete year here. Next site is a farm animal site. I've been working on this site for 5 or 6 years now, and it was trending quite a lot upwards. This is the site I installed spam on. If you haven't heard that story, you can go and watch that video as well. But that killed the traffic on that site. It's actually been pretty stable through the update periods, but it did decline somewhat after getting hit with spam. So I've been working on this site to make up for what I destroyed, and that has been happening in last year, so hopefully this year it will be trending back upward. I do apologize for the Christmas decorations there. It's January, and I know we have to take them down soon, but we haven't got around to it. So the next one is just sort of a smaller project. It's a travel blog. I've been enjoying writing for that, and it's been growing very slowly, and maybe the slow growth is why this site hasn't been destroyed completely by the updates, and the earnings is fair. The EPMV for this site is quite low, and it can be due to the low amount of traffic. But if we look at the performance here, you can see that it does seem to be hit by the core update. It does correspond with the correct dates here. So I'm not going to work too much more on that website this year. So I'll just leave it be and see where that ends up. Next one is a Danish site I just sort of started on a whim. It never got approved by SOIC for ads, even though it has been getting some decent amount of traffic. It was a side project to, for some reason, take my thoughts off some of the other failed projects. I'll come back to that. The next one is one of my most successful Danish niche website. I have some authority sites and I'll go to show you data for those as well. This has been doing quite well. It is a business catalog, so when people are searching for stuff on this site, they are looking for a business to make a purchase from, and the EPMV is quite high for a Danish site. Last time I checked, it was around $15 for 1,000 visitors. It might seem low, but for a Danish website, it's pretty good. I did something to the DNS servers, and that destroyed the esoic ads on the site for a couple of months, actually 5 or 6 months, I think, and that's why it has been going down. I believe if we multiply this by 2, we get somewhat. We get an estimate of what this site could have earned, and that is still a decline, but it's something I'm going to be more focused on this coming year. I have another side project. Again, I just saw a domain that was available and I found it funny, and I just wanted to build something quick on it. And as you can see, it hasn't been earning too much, under $1 for the complete year. The ads hasn't been on for the complete year, but still. And then suddenly it jumps 5,000%. And I could have made a thumbnail with 5,000% increase, but it would be somewhat clickbaity from nothing to $25. It is because one single article on that website is about a TV series that launched its 3rd or 4th season on Netflix, and people were Googling that just around the time that season aired. And after that, it went back to the usual level of income, or whatever you want to call that. Then I have a Danish daddy blog. I just write more opinion pieces on that one, and it hasn't been approved for monetization. And I have a test site also not approved for monetization due to spammy content, spammy links, and other types of stuff I'm trying out on this site. And then I have my personal website. I could put ads on there. For now, I've decided not to. This is the site where you can also find the portfolio, because I will be selling some of these sites. And if you want to see some of the URLs, you can go to this website and have a look at my portfolio. I will be working on this site throughout the year and trying to make a push to sell them at the end of the year. But if you are quick and you want one of these sites, you could maybe make me an offer now and get it for cheap, because it will of course be based on the stats and the data that is here. And if I manage to make improvements as I've shown you the results for here, I will increase the price. So take a look and see if there's something for you there. I also have 2 Danish authority sites. The first one I've had since 2008, and the other one is 2013, 14, I think. So they've been around for a while, and I do sort of have a Danish brand around these 2 sites. And if I'm lucky and you mention it for my targeted audience, some of them will have heard of me. And I thought that was protecting me for the spam and the helpful content updates, but so far I haven't been that lucky. The site is improving. So I put ads on there and the content is growing and getting better. So far it's been an increase. I'm going to experiment with getting sponsorships on a podcast I'm launching for this site as well. And it has been giving me opportunities to speak both online and offline. And I've did that before the pandemic as well. But here, a nice income, not specifically on the site, but due to the branding I've gotten from the site. And for the last one, on this side, I sell courses. and that's the main income for this site. And I've decided not to put ads on there for branding reasons, and it's also been giving me a little bit of speaking engagement. So if we look at everything combined, the blogging niche ad websites is actually quite a small percentage of what I earn online. So last year it was 8%, the total of $1,200. And the one Danish authority site, the one with the speaking engagement, gave me a little bit more, and the one with the courses on is the one that earned me the majority of my income. So this is around $15,000 last year, and that's sort of a nice income. Here in Denmark you would need a little bit more, but I do also have my day job, so everything works out nice, and this is a nice added bonus. And in 2022 it was these numbers would just add up to around $10,000, so it's been actually quite a nice increase, even though some of the smaller sites has been hit with the helpful content update. And this is sort of a learning that you can get here, that ads on a blog is not going to be the main income if you want to try to make money online from a blog. Speaking and courses and product sales and affiliate sales may play an even bigger role. So if we go back to my sheet here, there could actually be a learning in here. Even though I have a solid plan, and even though I follow what the gurus say, and I've paid for courses online, and I do the work and I do the thing, there is always something that is not within my control. And the helpful content update has sort of deflated the whole business and taking the energy and the spirit out of blogging in general. So even though I've seen increases in my complete business, the blogging side of it is going down. So if you're watching all these make money online ads, just be aware that even though you might be doing everything correctly, you might be in for a rough ride anyways. So I wrote this sort of half jokingly. Of course you shouldn't add spam to your website, but there is a learning hidden in there, and I've talked about this in the video where I talk about the spam incident. So far this Danish outlier website hasn't been earning me any money, even though I've spent quite a lot of hours actually publishing content to this website. This is time taken away from what I could maybe have made this site even bigger. So this Danish website hasn't been the best use of my time. I destroyed the income on this site myself by tinkering with the DNS service and trying to move content around. And if I haven't done that, this site could easily have earned $80 to $100 more than it did. Not that it's earth-moving income, but it's $100 is still nice, and I didn't get that because I wasted time on moving stuff around. So just don't do that. So I've been thinking about why I've been doing work on these websites. So of course there is some branding in this website, and I want to grow, of course, this YouTube channel, and maybe that website is a part of that. But these three websites is usually just a distraction from earning real money of some of the other websites. And I won't be able to sell any of these three websites. The test blog is so full of spammy links and other things I've been testing, so nobody wants to buy that one. The Danish daddy blog is based on my name in Danish, and the personal branding website is actually my real name. So it's they might be playing a role going forward, but it is distracting me from doing real work on the other sites. And this is the point I wanted to make with the spam site, the spam incident on one of my sites as well, is that when I see growth and when I'm almost at a success point, I somehow find a different project to dive into. I try to create challenges for myself that wasn't there before. That takes away from the success I could have seen. And why I do that is not clear to me. That might be a self-limiting belief that I'm not worthy of the success I could see, and I somehow end up destroying it for myself, or I just get plain right down bored by something that is actually succeeding, and I just need a tougher challenge. So the tougher challenge this year is going to be to stick with what is actually working. And in that vein, I am going to try to sell off some of these sites. And if you want to take a look and see the URLs, you should go to the link in the description and in the first pinned comment. Till next time, take care.